Hello and welcome to In a Spiritual Sense Kids, a podcast for parents, teachers, and caregivers seeking to support their children's emotional and energetic development. On the show, we'll blend insights from neuroscience, child psychology, and emotional awareness as we explore natural ways to help kids understand their own energy, stay grounded, and enhance creativity and imagination. Don't forget to check out our sister channel, In a Spiritual Sense, where we dive a little deeper into the metaphysical, working to build your intuition, connect with spirit guides, the paranormal, energetic healing, and more. Join me, Stacy Piagno, where we work to bridge the gap between science and spirit. Hello and welcome to In a Spiritual Sense Kids. I'm your host, Stacy Piagno, and I am so excited to have you join me on the launching of my new kids channel. Many of you might know me as the host from In a Spiritual Sense, which is all about learning how to connect and build our intuition as adults. On the show, we talk about the importance of connecting with our intuition and using it as a tool to help guide us through life. We also get into all the metaphysics. We talk about energy, how to grow a stronger relationship with our mental and emotional body, and of course, we talk a lot about the paranormal side of life. It's a lot of fun, it's very interesting, and we take a lot of deep dives into the energetic world around us. I highly recommend going to check it out, as a lot of the information we discuss on that show pertains to what we're going to be getting into here. With that, a little bit of background on me that I don't really discuss on In a Spiritual Sense is that I've also spent the last 9 years of my life as an elementary school teacher. I've spent 4 years teaching kindergarten and 5 years in first grade. And what I've learned after spending time with these 5 to 7-year-olds is how amazing children are and how much they teach us, even when we think we are the ones who teach them. Another thing I've noticed, however, while working with kids is how easy it is to get caught up in the rush, in the storm of emotions that come with these little beings who are just doing their best to try to maneuver through our world. And mind you, picking up and copying our every move, emotion, and reaction. And as the ones in charge who are here to guide them, you may have noticed that as we get swept up in the chaos, we sometimes aren't operating at our best to support them. And the energy we give to our kids is the energy we give to our world. Because kids are not only the future, but they are part of the present. And as we're going to be getting into on this show, energy is everything. It creates our reality. And unfortunately, it's something many of us don't pay very much attention to. So my purpose for creating this channel is to not only share everything these wonderful children have taught me, but to share how we as parents, teachers, and role models can better connect with not only our own kids, but the energy around us and the inner child within us. Because when we can learn how to connect to this inner spirit that we all carry and integrate it into the reality around us, I truly believe our world will be a much healthier, happier, balanced place to live in. Not just for the collective, not just for our families, but for us as individuals. So, In a Spiritual Sense Kids is a podcast for parents, teachers, or caregivers seeking to support their children's emotional and energetic development, as well as their own. On the show, we blend insights from neuroscience, child psychology, and energy awareness as we explore natural ways to help kids understand their own energy, stay grounded, and enhance their creativity and imagination, some of the most important qualities of life. And as we learn to hold space for our children, we will in return learn how to hold space for ourselves. So, it is my honor to welcome you all to Season 1, Episode 1 of In a Spiritual Sense Kids. Now, starting us off today, I thought it would only be fitting to discuss a little about energy awareness. Because if we are going to support our kids, we have to be able to support ourselves. If we are going to be able to guide our kids through their emotions, thoughts, or movements, we have to be better about guiding our own emotions, thoughts, and movements. To me, everything around us is alive. When I think about life, everything around us and within us is built of frequency. And when we bring this to our attention, we can really start to understand life. and for that matter, relationships. When we start to shift our thinking to the energetic side of things, we are able to step into a whole new awareness. You see, life is not just of the physical, our atoms. It is also of the energetic, our frequencies. It is in the teachings of science. It is in the teachings of religion. It is in the teachings of nature's design. So, because life is made of energy, as it is made of atoms, it would do us wise to not only pay attention to the physical, but also to the energetic. Not just what we see, but what we feel. And to understand the science behind the feeling, so we can better maneuver and better support the relationships around us and the relationship we have with ourselves. This is when I noticed a more balanced life for me, when I started paying attention to not only the physical, but to the energetic. And how do we start? By observing, by paying attention to all aspects of ourselves. We brush our teeth, we take care of our hair, our skin, our body, sometimes. But rarely do we ever give attention to our energy, our mind, our spirit. How often do we tap into these areas of life, and do we even know what they are or what they feel like? Because they're all a part of us. And they're all parts of our world and the environment we live in. And once we tap into these parts, we will be able to operate using a full system, a more balanced, harmonious vessel, which in return will teach our kids how to do so. Life becomes clear, joyful. We become more present. And just think if we could teach this to our children, how powerful that would be for them. To feel purpose in their life, to feel balanced, joyful, to be kind, strong, and independent. These are the things we want for our kids, to enjoy their experience of life. But we have to make sure we represent that for them, because whether we know it or not, they are watching and learning from our every move and every thought. Yes, I said thought. Kids are so in tune with our frequency. And remember, everything emits a frequency, even our thoughts. A little Energy 101. Not only what we do and how we feel emits a frequency, but what we think emits a signal out into the field of what we call life, our environment. And kids are in tune. So the way we act, the way we feel, the way we think, they are processing it all. And because kids are more intertwined in the energetic world, because they're younger and closer to spirit, we'll talk about that, the more intentional we need to be, and the more attention we need to have. As I mentioned above, are you aware of the 4 energetic bodies? The mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and the spiritual body? Although they are all connected within us and around us, they all need our tender love and care. Are you giving attention to each? I have a really fantastic episode on In a Spiritual Sense, Season 1, Episode 20, called Self-Care and Awakening the 4 Bodies. I'll probably reference lots of episodes for you guys, and I'll put the link to that one in the show notes for easy access. But part of being able to observe and learn from our energy and our kids' energy is to understand where discomfort stems from and learn how to either dismiss that energy or work with it. Transmute it to something more desirable, something that fuels us, not blocks us. And to do this, we have to be able to form better relationships with each of these areas. And we need to understand what these spaces are and what they feel like. We need to be able to form better relationships with our thought patterns. That's the mental body. Better relationships with how we think and what type of mini movies we're watching. What's playing in our head? What is the story or narrative we tell ourselves we're living in? Or the story of each situation we encounter. Are we aware that we're constantly living in our own perception? When we understand this, we can use it as a tool as opposed to an obstacle. What if we could better understand what we're feeling and where the energy of those feelings stem from? Are we easily triggered? Are we impatient, stressed, anxious, angry, or short-fused? What do those things feel like in our body? Why do we feel them? Did you know that these emotions and feelings that we experience are all caused from our system, our patterns, not others? And we have to take ownership of this to be able to work with it. This is the emotional body. What's happening physically within our systems when an emotion surfaces? And where did it come from? I like to refer to this as emotional intelligence. And as we become more perceptive and grow our emotional intelligence, so will our kids. Are we feeding our spirit? What are your interests or passions? Are you taking time to explore this and incorporate it into your life? That's a big one. Are we giving our kids time to explore this? What personally brings us joy? This is the spiritual body. I often hear parents and friends complaining about time being an issue on this one. Time is what often prevents us from digging into our spiritual body. And I get it. There's work, school, sports, homework, dinner, appointments. And sometimes we fall victim to the expectation that there will be no time for rest or personal interests, especially as a parent. But I am here to remind you that there is always time to give to yourself and your interests, as well as to your children and family. Family time and self-time. This will feed your spiritual body. And the trick is prioritizing, whether it be giving to the mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual. Sometimes just 15 minutes is enough to feed the soul. I'll give you an example because this is something that I've dealt with before personally. My life has been filled with overbooking myself, whether physically or just mentally. I've dealt with heavy feelings of stress and anxiety that stemmed from me feeling like there's no time, and I want to accomplish everything on my list. And yes, I can be a perfectionist. But I'm also tired and I need rest, but I don't have time to rest because life doesn't stop moving and I can't either. I get it. The more we discuss this season and the more attention we give to each of these bodies, we will start to recognize areas within us that we block. Unhealthy patterns. And if you're feeling like there's no time, or you notice yourself becoming easily anxious, this is a direct indication that our mental body needs attention. Our perspective needs a little shift. Our boundaries might need a little shift. Within our physical relationships and activities, yes, but also the boundaries within our mind. If we're getting anxious, it's because our focus, our mental body, is too attached to what's to come. Anxiety means we're living in the future, not the present. Are we placing too much pressure on ourselves? Are we putting others' needs in front of ours? Are we feeling lost or guilty because we're only giving and not receiving? And on top of that, we still feel like we're not giving enough. Life is about balance, and we should be both giving and receiving to feel aligned and grounded. If you're listening, you probably have children, and your response to this is, yes, I always put my children first. How can I not? I hear you. But we should be better about creating windows of time to feed our personal spirit if we want to be able to give and provide to our children. Because if there's no fuel in the tank, you're not going to get very far. And you're going to have nothing to give other than exhaustion, which is a low-level frequency and will only attract matching low-level frequencies into our environment. So, fueling your spiritual body, even if it's 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there, and checking in with your mental and emotional state is going to fuel you with more energy to accomplish everything you want and need. And there is enough time, and you're going to feel much better. Try building schedules. Kids need and love schedules, especially visual ones. Let them know when they can expect family time or one-on-one time or independent playtime. Let them know when they can expect to go play alone because mom or dad need to have that time for themselves. Build 15 minutes into your schedules and make it a priority. No excuses. And be present with your 15 minutes. Presence is the hidden secret to optimizing our experiences. It will turn 15 minutes into an hour. I'll have more coming out on this next week, but in the long run, those 15 minutes each day consistently will give you more energy and relieve some of that built-up anxiety or guilt. And because it's on the calendar, your kids will learn to understand it and accept it. And you'll have less disruptions, which will lead to a more impactful 15 minutes. I'm telling you, when I fall into doing more for others than I do for myself, which is very common, I'm not accomplishing anything. I start feeling depleted, and then the thought of that spirals me into more anxiety and more guilt because I want to do more, but I'm not personally my best. And I have things I wish I could get to, but I feel like I won't be able to get to them. And I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel because tomorrow is just as busy as today and it never stops. But the problem is, I'm not changing anything in my patterns to feel any different. I'm waiting on my environment to ease up or slow down or change for me. When I'm the artist, I'm the creator. So let me create. We have such an opportunity in life to make it everything we want. And this is such a beautiful lesson we can teach to our children. But we have to understand it first. Let us be more creative with how we want to incorporate everything we want versus fall victim to what can't be done. Because it is all possible and it can all be done. We just have to open our minds to accept that it can all be accomplished. And it can be easy and it can be fun. Sometimes all we need is to add a little more creativity and spend a little more time building a better relationship with these 4 areas of our life. And we need to make it fun. If there's one gift I've learned from being around kids, it's that everything should be fun. It's our perspective that needs shifting. So, this week, I challenge you to do something for you in each or some of these areas. Do something that lights up your spirit. Do something to make your body feel good. Bring awareness to the mental and to the emotional. Just feel what comes up and let it be. We're just observing. No attachment, nothing crazy. See if you can feel into each of these spaces and say hello. And don't make it a special occasion. Make it routine. Create that 15-minute practice for yourself each day. Go get a calendar, color code it for your kids, block out windows, and let them know how important it is to have a relationship with yourself and then with themselves. Because if we can't start with this, if we can't be flexible in our routine and recharge the vessel that supports our little beings, we're not going to have very much energy to help them grow into their potential because we aren't activating ours. So, take time to charge yourself this week. Check in and create mindfulness within the role model who our little ones look up to. And make sure to check out episode 20 from In a Spiritual Sense, Self-Care and Awakening the 4 Bodies. The link is again provided below. I go way more in depth about how to observe and work with these 4 areas of our lives: the mental, the emotional, physical, and spiritual. I just touched on it today, but this episode below is really great background for everything we're going to be talking about and discussing this season. And it all starts with awareness. It all starts with us, because we're the ones who create an environment for our kids. We're the ones who emit frequencies for our kids to live in. We're in charge of our vessels. We're in charge of our environments. And we're in charge of our reality. And we all have the opportunity to live in and create the life we desire for ourselves and our families. If you guys have questions, comments, struggles, send me an email at info@inaspiritualsense.com and I'll work to incorporate your answers on the show. If you guys are watching on YouTube, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys need. What do you want to hear? I'm so excited to have you be a part of In a Spiritual Sense Kids. There's a lot to learn. I'm still learning every day, and I'm excited to share it with you. If you enjoyed this episode, please use it to inspire those around you, and I'll see you next week on In a Spiritual Sense Kids. For those looking to connect further, please feel free to send emails to info@inaspiritualsense.com or hit me up on Instagram, where you can find weekly inspiration and updates. I look forward to connecting with you.
This show is part of the Mindful Podcast Network.